Hey, what's up everyone? I'm just doing an update here on my skimmer, my Reef life support system DB8i DC pump skimmer. And I want to say here, I'm doing this, so for the most part you can learn by my mistakes. And I really shouldn't say mistakes. This is my first in-sump skimmer. And basically, I just wanted to let you know as far as what I went through and some issues. Not even issues. I didn't have really any instructions for the most part. Or not that I didn't have instructions. I guess advice from other people. But whatever, I'm rambling. So, skimmers need to be running in a specific depth of water. And in the instructions, it'll say so. It might be 8 to 10 inches, and that's constant water. So if you have, a container like this and you fill it with, 8 inches of water, once you turn the skimmer on, water's going to fill up in the chamber, so this water is going to drop low. So then, when the water's low here, it takes a little bit more work for the pump, and the water might fluctuate and go up and down. So really, once you turn the skimmer on, you're going to need to pour water in here to make sure this is kind of at a constant level. Because if you adjust, your adjustment here will either spit more water out of here, and if it's spitting more water out of here, this water is going to drop. If you close this so not much water is coming out of here, this will fill up. So, any adjustments will affect this water level. It's not going to matter so much if you're in a sump, or at least a sump with a constant water level, because you can make adjustments all you want, the water level will stay the same. So in that case, that's why people make stands like this. Stands out of egg crate, or PVC, or both, Mine just so happens to be the best stand out there, because I made it. But just to kind of get it at the height you want it, or the height it should run. My other mistake was I set this up and I put reverse osmosis water in it, because I'm like, oh, instead of rinsing it, I'll run it in reverse osmosis water, well, reverse osmosis water obviously isn't salt water. It doesn't have the proteins. You don't skim freshwater tanks. It just doesn't work. So the bubbles I was getting in the chamber were, really large bubbles and not too many bubbles, and it was just running weird. And I thought, oh shoot, is something wrong with this? No, nothing's wrong with it. I added salt water, things kind of changed. So when you first turn it on, there's like a break-in period basically. And for the most part, there might be oils or films or whatnot, like on the inside surface of the skimmer and in the pump. And they talk about a break-in time. And so how do you break in a skimmer? I've heard a couple different ways. How I started to was I turned the skimmer on and I adjusted the water level so a lot of water was coming out of here, so the water level was low. So once it kind of it starts to break in, if this was all the way closed, your water level might be here, then all of a sudden, once it's broken in, it'll start foaming and going over the top. So it was Mr. Saltwater on YouTube had mentioned, he had his skimmer in the sump and he just had it on low, so a lot of water was coming here, and then gradually make increases over, a couple days or whatnot, or several hours. So once this does kick in, you don't get a lot of overflow, and this overflows and all that. A better way I found online was just not taking the lid off, but taking this whole piece off and setting it aside, and then cranking this so this is closed for the most part. So the water level will rise here, and it'll overflow, and just overflow back into this area, and it'll just keep doing that. So the whole surface, the inside surface of here, will have salt water kind of on it, and you'll develop like that slime coat, and whatnot. which will break it in. And I did that actually. The first few, half day I did it the one way, but then, I kind of changed it, turned it on, closed this off, took this off, so once it overflows, it just overflows off the edge, and that happens immediately. And I ran it that way for probably a day, and then I put this top back on, and I adjusted my water level. My water level is maybe around here or so, but the rest is just bubbling. And you kind of stop that like roughly around here where this detaches. And you can adjust it. You can see there's skim coming out now. And I don't know, there's about a half an inch of water there. So really, I'm going to probably lower this water level. I guess it really doesn't matter now because this isn't in my tank. But once it's in my tank, I'll run it and whatnot. And adjusting the height on this, if you have the water high, you'll produce a lot of, they call it wet skim. If you adjust it sort of low, it takes a while, much longer for, I guess, the foam to kind of go into the cup up there. But you'll have a more dark, concentrated skim. And some of them out there, you just look at videos on YouTube. Some of it almost looks like coffee, and it's just real concentrated and very beautiful looking. So, yeah, so if you're going to get anything out of it, height is an important thing. Make sure it's running at a specific height as stated by the manufacturer. If you have it deeper, like the skimmer lower and the water kind of, if it's supposed to run, let's say your sump, the water level is 10 inches and your sump's supposed to run at 8 inches, obviously you build a stand for 2 inches that lifts this up, so it's at the recommended height. If you don't have the stand and the skimmer is deeper and the water level is higher from your sump, if it's, I don't know, your sump water level's a constant 10 inches and the skimmer's supposed to run at 6, the water level's higher than recommended, so the water will overflow easier, because if you dump a couple inches of water in here, skim will start coming out much faster, wet skim, and this could fill up relatively fast. A way to illustrate is if I put my finger over the air intake, watch what happens. The water level rises because not as much air is going in, and then stuff dumps into this container. So, like I said, the height is important. Not running it in RO water if you're going to break it in. And like I said, because that's not going to work, my tank will be here maybe in about a week. I've probably been saying that for the past couple of weeks. So, I'm just preparing here. I just have my skimmer and some salt water and I'm letting it run. And it's quieted down some, I will say that. You can hear some air being brought into here. That's just going to happen, I guess, sort of regardless. I can position this in the tank so maybe this is kind of closer to the rear of the sump, so I won't hear it as much. And then also, this output here, that's making noise. So what I'm going to do, this is 1.25 inch pipe, and it's schedule 80. So I can't just buy another 1.25 inch pipe, schedule 40, and hook it onto that, because schedule 80 pipe is thicker, so the inside diameter is smaller than, a schedule 40. I found that out after I bought the components. But this is a 90 degree with a street elbow, and the street elbow is tapered, so if I tried to hook this end onto, if this was schedule 40, but this end into another elbow wouldn't work. You'd have to get a piece of pipe to connect it. A street elbow, it's tapered, so it's like that piece of pipe. So theoretically, you just stick it right in. Unfortunately, I have to order a schedule 80 because I can't find them anywhere. 90 degree with a street elbow. I think it cost me $8, and I think I had to pay like 10, 15 bucks for shipping or something. I got ripped off. Roughly I had to pay 20 bucks for something like this. But this will fit in the end, and the water will go straight down. So, you know, well, I'll just hold it onto here. You know, I'll do something like that. So it'll be a little more quiet. The bubbles have really decreased down here. When I first turned it on, there were tons of bubbles down there. You know, and I was gonna kind of put something like this on the end so it would direct the water downwards, and this would almost act like a bubble trap. But you know, the bubbles have really decreased. You know, I'm pretty impressed with this so far. It seems pretty cool. I like the skimmer. Can't wait to hook it on my tank and stuff. But yeah, that's all about it. And so yeah, you cannot run a skimmer in RO water. Don't try it. Learn from my mistakes. Okay. Thanks for watching. See you later.